Good afternoon, everybody. Uneducated Economist here. So I know a lot of you guys really like it when I talk about lumber, talk about the building industry, talk about things that I'm seeing happening in the building supply industry. Now, for those of you who don't know, I do work at a lumber yard. I've been working lumber yards pretty much my whole life. Um, and I have my fingers on the pulse of the industry when it comes to building supplies. And right now, we are sitting in a very unique situation, something I had never seen before in all the years that I've ever worked at all the different lumber yards that I've been at. I have never seen a supply shortage of pressure treated like I am experiencing right now. And, I thought by now we would have started seeing the supply chain start to open up a little bit, at least as far as the lumber goes and the availability of this pressure treated lumber. But it's getting worse. And I'm finding it harder and harder to find a lot of material. 4x4 and 2x12 are almost impossible to get your hands on right now. I tried to order some more for the yard today. I am pretty much out of 4x4, 8 foot, 10 foot, 12 foot, 14 foot. I have a unit of 16s and a unit of 6-footers that a lot of people use for fencing. And that is it. And I could not get any more today. I could not get any more 2x12 pressure treated in. It is it's unique to say the least, but it is crazy to think that the supply shortage has gone on this long. I mean, we're talking 6, 7, almost 8 weeks now that I've been experiencing the shortage of pressure treated lumber. Now, although we have not run out of stock on it, one of the other things that we're finding coming up in a huge demand is the 1/2-inch CDX plywood. Now, if you're not familiar with 1/2-inch CDX plywood, it's the skin that goes on the outside of a building before all like the siding and doors and windows and stuff like that goes in. So you got like the skeleton of the building, which is like the 2x4s, 2x6s, and then the outside is the plywood is a 1/2-inch CDX for the most part. A lot of people use 7/16 OSB. Now, this 1/2-inch CDX, the price on it has gone up dramatically. I mean, typically you would sell 1/2-inch CDX for around $18 to $22 a sheet. We have it listed today at $27.50, and the price actually came down a little bit after we bought the last few pieces that we got. We got a truckload, we got that in. We were able to retail it out at $27.50 a sheet. What I found interesting, though, is that we have 5/8 CDX. The next size up is just a little bit thicker. We have that one selling for $1 more than the 1/2-inch CDX. They're $1 apart. Typically, you would find these things being $5, $6 apart would be pretty common. Maybe you get as low as $3 apart, but never have they been $1 apart. And the demand for this 1/2-inch CDX is growing so big, I wouldn't be surprised if it actually passed up the 5/8 CDX price. Something that is just like, typically you would think that would never happen. Nobody in the building industry would ever say, or supply industry either, would ever say that 1/2-inch CDX would sell more than 5/8 CDX. But I have a feeling that's what's going to take place, because without that 1/2-inch CDX, you're not sheathing the building. And if you can't sheath the building, then you're not putting siding, and you're not putting doors in, you're not putting windows in, you're not building a house. You have to have the sheathing. And if everybody starts switching over to 7/16 OSB, then you're going to find the OSB price is going to skyrocket as well. If the 1/2-inch CDX isn't available, you go to 7/16 OSB. If 7/16 OSB isn't available, then you're going to have to switch over to something else, and there's not a whole lot of other sheathings out there available. You could go up in size, go to that 5/8 CDX, but if everybody starts buying up the 5/8 CDX, guess what happens to the price of 5/8? It goes up as well. Now, here's the thing that I really wanted to let you guys in on, because this is something that you're probably not going to hear anywhere else. We're way off in the corner. We're not anywhere near Portland. I mean, we're like, 50, 60 miles from Portland, which is going to be the biggest city. The availability of plywood goes to all lumber yards, whether you're in the city or out of the city. When you buy a truckload, you're buying them, everybody buys them from essentially the same area, from the same places. And when you're buying a truckload. So talking to the buyer, this is what he had to say. He goes, that if we were to order a truck today, we wouldn't see that truck until the end of September 17th, really. almost 6-7 weeks away. There is no building industry that's going to sit around and wait 7 weeks for this plywood to arrive. And they will pay any price for it in order to continue on with their projects. So if you're in the building industry, if you are like a framer of houses, if that's your job, if I were you, I would secure that 1/2-inch CDX or the 7/16 OSB, because the next 6-7 weeks are going to be a very difficult time sourcing out these products. If the lumber yards start running out, the supply is so far out that you will not be able to do your project. This is something I have never seen before. I've never seen a supply chain breakdown in the building supply industry like I am experiencing right now. And that's when the prices really start to drive up, is when the demand rises like it's doing right now. We're in the middle of the building season. The home builders out there have a great attitude about things. They're building like crazy. Homes are selling because, there's not a lot on the market right now. Interest rates are really low. It's like the perfect storm for rising prices. And I would not be surprised to see over the next couple of weeks 1/2-inch CDX prices move into the $30 a sheet range. And I would not be surprised to see it pass up the 5/8 CDX price. Anyway, that's what I got for you guys today. Uneducated Economist. You guys let me know.